Boom! Welcome back to Sebs Show, everybody. It's your boy Sebs and your co-host Gib. This is UFC Denver, Korean Zombie versus Yair Rodriguez. Yair steps in on short notice. It was supposed to be Frankie Edgar versus Korean Zombie, but here we are. A lot of good fights for you on this card. Let's start off with the first one already. Mark De La Rosa Bumblebee versus Joby Sanchez. Just finished tape on this right now. The last fight I did tape on. Joby Sanchez gives up his back a lot, man, from what I was seeing. Almost every fight. And he gets knocked down a lot. He has a very weak chin. He got knocked out by Gene Herrera. And then Wilson Hayes, exactly. And then who else? JP Buys.
Yeah.
JP Buys knocked him down on the Contender Series. I think, or was it JP? Or I think Manny Vasquez. Yeah, Manny Vasquez knocked him down in the Contender Series. JP Buys almost submitted him, took his back, and Manny Vasquez took his back. This is just, he's a guy who doesn't have the best striking, doesn't have the best ground game or anything. He just tries to put it all together. It's not very. He's not the most well put together fighter. I would say. I'd say he's not. I wouldn't say he's not UFC level, but maybe he's not top 25 or anything like that. I would say, especially this is a guy who needs to make an impact. Well, both of them have to make an impact because the flyweight division's done.
Yeah.
And this is a flyweight fight, man. And if you're already not getting it done at flyweight, there's no way they're bringing you up to 135. Like you saw guys like Jared Brooks and Jose Shorty Torres get cut already. So if you're not bringing it, you're getting cut, man. So I see Mark De La Rosa, man. He has very crisp punches, very good box. He's putting it all together. Just working at Factory X Muay Thai with Mark Montoya. His girlfriend's a great grappler, great wrestler. His wife, Montana De La Rosa. And then he's working with all kinds of fighters like Devontae Smith and whatnot. He's got crisp pants, got a nice uppercut and everything, but I think what happens here is he's gonna knock him down, or he's gonna eventually get him down, Joby Sanchez down. He's gonna take Joby Sanchez back, like what happens in every fight, and I think he's gonna submit him. He's gonna put a rear naked chokehold on him, and he's gonna submit him. So for that, I put 0.5 units. Small little stab, but I like it. I put 0.5 units on De La Rosa wins by submission at plus 200. And yeah, let's go, man. I like that little play a lot.
I completely understand that play. I think Joby Sanchez's footwork is pretty good. He's got a nice crouch low stance, and tends to pick his shots and likes his kicks and jabs, Superman punches, and big left hook. Even though he did really get wrecked by Reyes, he still downed him in that fight, and it was a rough fight for him. And rubbing shoulders with someone like that definitely showed where he kind of stands in the division. I mean, kind of clapped him in the second round there, man. Getting 2 knockdowns, I'm pretty sure. Weird, but after landing lots of big shots, unlike some fighters who smell blood and continue pressure, Joby kind of lays back, and that's a do or die move right there. And all people really need is a few seconds to recuperate, and they're right back on you. Obviously, Buys really tore him up on the ground, and Joby has to kind of improve at getting back up and keeping those bombs landing and keeping him safe. Mark De La Rosa, crazy at snagging submissions, beat Tim Elliott before being slammed in the first round. Looks for early submissions all the time. Slams are actually part of De La Rosa's kind of wheelhouse. He'll slam, and he likes really getting the jab out there in people's face. Against undefeated Brazilian fighter Hernandez Flores, double jab, right hand, basic combinations, and they work for him. He repeats it, and he finds a lot of good success with that. With basics of striking, I think he can wrap up Joby in the choke because he normally gets those chokes in the second round. And, you know, I think if maybe Joby starts swinging bombs and maybe clicks that left hook, hey, he could end the night early, but I still take Mark De La Rosa for the basics on the stand-up. And I think he even gets it done if the back gets taken due to just Joby Sanchez's wild punches or if he misses a big shot. So I got Mark De La Rosa in this fight as well, the Bumblebee.
Yeah, I think it's looking good. Next up, we got Joseph Morales taking on Eric Showtime Shelton. I'm watching right now. I'm watching the finish of Davison versus Joseph Morales,
and it's a tough fight.
I don't know. Man. That's a fight. A lot of people are basing this fight on that fight.
No.
And you can't, because Davison's one of a kind, man. He's fucking dangerous. Figueiredo is scary. I forgot how scary this guy is.
Did they cut him too?
No, they can't. They can't. I think he's had trouble making 125. So he's actually pretty big 125 or so.
So this is pretty good for him, then.
Yeah. I think he actually does really well at 135 too. But
oh man, bombs.
He fucking he fucking knocked out Joseph Morales and was a good fight until that point or whatever, but you saw Davison just like manhandling him at some point. Before that, the Roberto Sanchez fight, I think Joseph Morales actually
Sorry, guys, we're just gonna get that back for you. Okay, and we're back. So, like, yeah, 30 seconds maybe.
Yeah, like, okay, so like him versus Roberto Sanchez, another good one where he got that nasty rear naked chokehold on him.
Yeah.
And so ends up submitting. He's just a really good grappler, Joseph Morales. He's been with Team Alpha Male since he was 10 years old. Good grappler, man. And he's going against Showtime Shelton here, who's got he's got some decent striking as well. I think they're both. This is a toss-up match, man. This is a hard one to call, but I think I'm gonna go with Eric Showtime Shelton. I think he has more tools to win. I think he knows his back's against the wall, and these are two guys that have to make an impact at flyweight. They want to look at 135. They want to move up to 135. These guys. Just look at their stats real quick. How tall are they?
Eric Shelton's 5'6", and
I think he is 5'6" to Morales.
Morales, yeah, so same.
Yeah, fuck. I don't know how they fare in bantamweight. There's some big boys in bantamweight. There's Sean O'Malley, who's almost 6 feet tall. He's almost 6 feet fucking tall. He's in bantamweight. So I don't know how these fare in the bantamweight division, but it's a tough one to call, man. I'm going with Eric Shelton, though.
I can see that. I mean, Joseph Morales before Figueiredo was undefeated, really killing it, and for a good reason. He had a great fight, Roberto Sanchez, who got the takedown early, and he had a little bit of trouble getting complete control on the ground. Morales makes things pretty difficult for guys on the ground, and Roberto Sanchez can be extremely forceful, very pressureful, and he looks to take the back at all times and get on top. Once he does get out, he has good clinch work, always loaded up, pulling the trigger on the 1-2 and knock down Roberto Sanchez, putting a really familiar choke and body triangle, really like that. Eric Shelton, on the other hand, watching his Jared Brooks fight, amazing action. If you want to go watch a fight, that's a great one to watch. Circles footwork. He has a big right hand as well and throws the 1-2. It's going to be interesting seeing them both throw this similar like 1-2 combos on the stand-up. Even though being up against the fence in the Brooks fight, he was able to kind of fight him off and resist a bit of the wrestling, but the takedowns were a lot for him. It was rough, and seeing him up against the fence kind of wore him down a bit, and even made him hesitate pulling the trigger quite a bit. So if Morales can be really grindy and and really pushy, he might be able to hurt Eric Shelton in this fight in the long haul, and even get his get back on a good streak here after his Davison fight. So I got Joseph Morales in this one. I think he gets back to it.
Yeah, I would I can see both outcomes. So I wouldn't.
We haven't seen a triangle choke in a while from him.
From who, Joseph?
Yeah.
Why did he hit one on the regional?
Just earlier on, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great grappler. Probably the better grappler of the two. I just think Shelton's probably the better. It depends where this fight goes.
He's quick, man, and he runs around. He's got good angles. Little shots on the ground.
Yeah, depends where this fight goes. I think if it goes to the ground, this is Morales all day. I think if it's standing up, I think Shelton might have the advantage here. But this is a tough one to pick. I'm staying away. Next up, we hit the prelim portion of our card, and it's Devontae Smith taking on Julian Rosa. Well, I got 3.5 units on Devontae Smith at -217.
Nice.
When I see, man, this guy's fucking legit. He's got a nasty jab, very nasty jab, very hard overhand right. Power in both hands, and he's actually a good defensive wrestler as well. Doesn't get taken down as easily and stuff. I think this fight's going to be standing up. Julian Rosa is moving up from 145 to 155, even though he's a big 145er. Julian Rosa, he's like 6'1".
Lanky.
Yeah,
super lanky.
Super lanky. He's going to 155 here. I think Devontae Smith knocks his ass out, man. I think he knocks his ass out. I think Julian Rosa's been knocked out by Artem Lobov on Tough. He's been knocked out before, man. His chin's been tested. On the regional scene, he was killing it. He was killing it on Global Knockout and all these little fucking promotions. And between you and me, he beat Patty Pimblett for the Cage Warriors title. I think he got robbed, but I think he ended up winning that fight. But he got robbed. But whatever, Patty Pimblett's no Devontae Smith.
Check that one out.
Yeah. And Devontae Smith is no joke, though, man. If you go rewatch some of his fights, like watch his fight against Fred Stonehouse. Buddy, this guy fucking lays into Fred Stonehouse with two of the hardest shots I've ever seen to knock him out on the ground. Nice. Bombs to knock him out on the ground, like bombs. And Julian Rose is not able to handle that. Devontae Smith is way bigger than him. He's got a longer reach. Actually, even though Julian Rose is the taller guy, Devontae Smith is going to be, I think, the thicker guy and the one with the longer reach. He's going to pop that jab real nice. And I think he's going to come with the overhand right and knock out Julian Rosa. I think this is coming out, not a coming out party, but this is a good debut for Devontae Smith. We saw him against John Gunther. He was lighting up John Gunther.
That's a really good fight. I was about to say that one, yeah.
Yeah, and John Gunther just takes him down repeatedly in that fight. But since then he's worked on his takedown defense. He's at Factory X Muay Thai with Mark Montoya. This is he trains in Denver. This is a fight. This is in Denver. Julian Rose coming in on kind of short notice here to fight Devontae Smith in Denver. I just see Devontae Smith killing him and finishing him here.
Yeah, Julian Rosa lost on the McGregor season and a half to Artem Lobov, but I got to give Lobov his props for that after that Johnson fight. That was awesome, you have to admit. And I think it was even cooler of him to give him the money back for the amount of weight that he was over the scale. I thought that was pretty cool. So I got to give him props there. Other than that, Arosa has some pretty good reflexes, even though his hands are down most of the time. Kind of darts in and out, and he kind of escapes shots just in the nick of time. And sometimes he can actually line up some pretty nice cross counters. But in the Lobov fight, that low jab cost him a big overhand right that Lobov landed. And that take a punch to give a punch style really only worked against Abner Rivera, who he also beat on the show, who he started to kind of beat later on in the fight, like in the second round. Or no, that went into the third round, right? Pretty sure he had a real tough first round, but then as he stood in front of him constantly and kind of took his shots, he was able to constantly cross counter him. And it was interesting the way he did it. Kind of snuck in some knees, even some kicks. Has this really weird front kick that he throws that, I mean, maybe he can catch you if you're not paying attention. But his rhythm really starts to work if he's getting drilled with shots and he tires you out. But Devontae Smith has already fought John Gunther, who, I mean, if you don't have stopping power, and actually Devontae Smith hit Gunther with a lot of big shots and
hard
elbows.
shots.
Yeah. But I mean, Gunther is a tank, just coming forward. And I think fighting that is pretty much all you need. And if you're gonna fight Rosa, I think it's, you're gonna shake him a little bit more than John Gunther. John Gunther's gonna keep coming at you. Devontae Smith is really good at feinting jabs, keeping people blind with it, and really far away. Great at spontaneous kicks, checks, elbows that he landed on Joe Laurie. That was nuts. I really got to go watch that fight you were telling me about. I haven't seen that one yet. Anyone who opens up on Smith is going to get hit because if you give him space, he'll stop and fire punches, and that's when he's at his deadliest. When he's got both feet planted, but in that time that he's running away, it's extremely difficult to catch him. So I think even if Julian Erosa takes all the shots he wants, and it goes into the second and third round, if he's still following him, it's going to be just teeing off time for Smith, and especially if you don't keep that pressure, and if you slow down before he does, you're screwed pretty much. I think he'll be able to crumble Erosa, but the cross counters might get a little touch and go for him, but I still got Devontae Smith in this.
Yeah. Next up, we got Davi the Tasmanian Devil Ramos against John the Machine Gun Gunther. Or is it the Machine Gunther? I think it's the Machine Gunther.
Is it the Machine? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It'd be sick if it was John the Machine Gun Gunther.
Yeah, it is the Machine.
Okay. I don't know what else to say about this fight, man. Fucking breaking down Davi Ramos and thing. If you go watch the MMA Junkie scrum, man, it was so funny. John Gunther is a funny man. He was like all his jiu-jitsu, he doesn't know anything about jiu-jitsu, and he was like and this guy's a fucking Abu Dhabi world champion, bro, that he's fighting, and he doesn't know any.
That's ridiculous.
And he's like, yeah, I've been grappling robots.
Yeah, I heard about that. And it beats him a few times too, apparently. Like, gives him a good run. Yeah. That's awesome. he has to like roll with alpacas and shave them from the show. Hands down, he was probably the most entertaining out of everybody.
Oh, fuck yeah, man! That guy's fucking jokes, man. He was saying that all his jiu-jitsu buddies are saying that this guy is like, he's gonna kill you, bro. His own friends were telling him that the guy he's fighting, Davi Ramos, is gonna kill him, bro. it's like he's gonna kill you, bro. Poor guy.
That's hilarious.
He's huge underdog here, man. Fucking plus 655, plus 700 in some places. I don't know what to say, man. I think Davi Ramos fucking is gonna clean him. Is gonna knock him down real quick, and then he's gonna get on top and submit him. I think this is gonna be in the first round. If John Gunther is gonna look for takedowns here, he's in big trouble. He shouldn't go to the ground with this fucking monster Davi Ramos. He should not be on the ground with him. But imagine a black belt rolling with a white belt on the ground. The fuck's gonna happen, man?
Yeah. Your explosiveness and like just tank kind of qualities aren't gonna save you for long, especially if you get tired.
Like, oh my goodness, that was another reason I took Mark De La Rosa to beat Joby Sanchez, because I was listening to Half the Battle, and Dan on Half the Battle was saying that De La Rosa is a black belt and Joby Sanchez is a blue belt. Shit. How do those roles go? You know, I've seen those roles personally, and they fucking don't. You know, but yeah, here, man, you got fucking Davi Ramos. I think Davi Ramos finishes this rather quickly, man. He's better everywhere this fight goes. Gunther's just a tough, durable guy, but I fucking loaded up on Ramos, man. I think he's the real deal. I think Ramos is actually a legit prospect in this lightweight division, especially if he gets his hands going even more. And his striking, he's fucking legit, man. And he's got some world-class jiu-jitsu, cut through Nick Hine like butter, man. He fucking fucked up Nick Hine, man. He
fast hooks, man. Whirlwind.
Yeah, takes your back. Did you see that back take? He switched the Kimura into the back take. Did you see that shit? Ridiculous. That was fucking ridiculous, man. Oh my goodness. So I got the under 1.5 rounds here. I think it's not going to go past the first. So I put 2.01 units on the under 1.5 rounds here, and I also got Ramos to win inside the distance. Parlayed with somebody later in the card for 5 units as well. So I'm all over Ramos.
I gotta agree, man. John Gunther, tough as nails. Like we said, it took care of Devontae Smith. At a time where a lot of people were just figuring out how to chase him down. He has one strategy: wrestle you down, constant pressure, and take people out like Alan Zuniga, just really bothering him at knees, thigh shots, takedowns, push to the fence. A lot of like Khabib versus Conor stuff. If you remember in that fight, Khabib kind of like triangled both of Conor's legs together. Actually, John Gunther does a lot of that in a lot of his early fights. I think that's an awesome strategy, actually. Striking is a bit unorthodox off of his front leg, and seems to spend a little too much time in the pocket as he does get taken down. But immediately he goes for takedowns, and I mean, this guy's head must be made out of titanium, because some of the shots that he walks through casually just are not normal. Davi Ramos, a little bit slow, kind of waits for his stuff that eventually does build up. When he does build up the courage, man, he goes off like a flight. Ramos is real deadly on the ground. Was knocked down by Nick Hine in their fight, but Nick didn't even want to try his luck there. And later on, Ramos got a takedown and brought him to the ground. Just amazing submission, just got it off effortlessly. His transitions on the ground are ridiculous. Forcing opponents to block in order to go for his takedowns is awesome. Like, he'll throw a jab right in their face, they'll go for the block, go for the takedown, or even do a kick one instead, low kick, and grab the hips. As long as he lands the shot, he'll be able to kind of time his takedowns. And if he doesn't time his takedowns, this guy's got whirlwind hooks. They just come left, right, hit to the body, hit to the head. Ridiculous. Tends to pull guard a lot as soon as he hits the floor, and really good at passing, and even better at that top position, throwing bombs down. I kind of like the Ramos the Ramos fight footwork, and how he got into that wild jumping knee I think Davi Ramos takes this because a lot of his strikes are just, I think, a little closer in and quicker. And I think when John Gunther gets into that zone, Davi Ramos is going to have some deadly shots for him. And if he keeps landing that lead hook, it could be real bad for John Gunther, even if he's being extremely offensive and actually getting a lot of his plan off. Because even on the ground off his back, Davi Ramos is pretty deadly. So I got Davi Ramos in this one for sure.
Yeah, I'm just looking right now. This has to be a mistake. This has to be a mistake. He's plus 130. The under 1.5 rounds is plus 130 on Sports Interaction. So fucking, that's fucked. I paid way more than that. I paid minus 200, so I hope that's a mistake. That will leave me betting way more. I'd end up betting that shit too. Fuck. All right, next up we got Chad Scully versus Bobby Moffett. This is another one I don't got a lot to say about, man, because fucking Moffett looked great on Contender Series.
Yeah.
He's looked great in some of it. If you go watch the snippets of him or whatever on looking for a fight, or whatever the fuck that show is called, the Dana White that show, beat the fuck out of that guy who was 2-0 or 3-0. I don't know why they matched him up against Bobby Moffett. And then his Victory FC fight grinds out a decision win here. Chad Skelly, very similar fighter in the striking, the takedowns, the wrestling, everything. This is a pick 'em for a reason, guys, because this is such a similar fight.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to go with a winner here. I'm going with Bobby Moffett. I think he fucking gets a decision win over Chad Skelly, but this is a toss up, man. This is definitionally a toss up.
You're right. They both have real similar wrestling. They both actually have a lot of darts. Well, actually, Bobby Moffett has more darts chokes, but Chase Skelly has one, and as well as arm triangle, which is just legit wrestling chokes. I mean, it's a parallel match, a bit of a mirror match. I think Chase is a good striker, just as deadly submission skill. Good uppercuts. I like his knees and overhands. Rarely jabs though, so it's going to take him a while to find that big shot if people are fighting him from a distance. If you're not careful though, you could be a victim of his back taking and choke game, which is very surprising for opponents early. Completely beat up Chris Grutzmacher in a fight that shows just how much he can kind of mix up a really crazy threat, both stand up and on the ground. Second round, not even leaving him alone. Few rear elbows like it was nothing. Check out how fast he gets the anaconda choke on Maximo Blanco. Don't blink on that.
19 seconds.
Don't blink. Bobby Moffett, on the other hand, man, same great ground game, good arm triangle. Trying to keep him from passing and getting to mount is real difficult. Look at Jacob Kilborn, couldn't do it. Last thing you want to do is have a round end with you on the ground with him, because once he knows, he's going to go right at you in the first 30 seconds, getting another takedown. Kilburn was on the floor just getting tortured. Once you hit the floor, he gets into a really big problem. A lot of good top priority, and lost to Ronnie Barcelos, showing some difficulty against boxing, especially the overhands and kicks down the middle. And I'm curious what would happen if they both fought again, actually. So I'm actually going for Skelly in this one just because of the knees and that overhand.
Yeah, man.
But I don't know, man. Skelly doesn't jab, so it's weird. It's a weird fight, but yeah, I got Chase Skelly.
Chad Skelly.
Yeah.
Okay, hold up. Just give me a second here. Next up, we got Ashley Yoder taking on Amanda Cooper. I'll let you take this one, Gib.
You know what? Yoder has the name Spider Monkey for a reason, and she hangs off of opponents off the guard. Got Angela Hill in a bit of trouble in their fight, but Angela Hill was able to kind of stay away from it afterwards. And when she makes too many mistakes and maybe goes for the finish at certain times, or even has a difficult time passing, she might lose a lot of energy. And once it gets brought back on the stand-up, a really fast opponent who can dart in and out of the phone booth might be able to take advantage of her. Overkill Hill was able to land a lot of right hands, but Angela Hill took her to the ground in the second, and she had to kind of really push to catch up, especially pushing off the fence and going back to the more predictable stuff, kind of regaining control. Fought Mackenzie Dern to a split decision as the fight got rough really early in the first round. Nice kicks to the body in the Dern fight. I thought she did really well. Tough as nails, man. Few left hands and a good leg kick I thought were working for her in a pretty tense fight, man. Yoder stayed composed against Dern, as good as Cooper did, actually. The only thing that Cooper did differently in that fight is she really sparked Mackenzie Dern with some combos in the first round, if you check that out. Her boxing, I mean, I feel like the reason Amanda Cooper loses a lot of these fights is she comes out like a firecracker, starts swinging bombs, and all of a sudden their opponent just starts to up the ante, and all of a sudden a big strike lands, like Mackenzie Dern's big right hand, 7 pounds added, by the way. So she got hit by a truck, and then after that, fighters are just able to kind of come back after that Cooper sprint. I think if Cooper finished people a lot like Aspen Ladd, get the back and start throwing those punches from behind, she can actually start really winning these fights, because I'm pretty sure that's where she got the last wins that she did have against Angelina Magana. So she might be able to use that in her arsenal. But at the same time, Ashley Yoder, really good at jiu-jitsu. She can get choked really easily in this one. So I don't know, man. I think the Spider Monkey chokes her out.
I'm on the same wagon as you, buddy. I think Spider Monkey gets a sub here.
Yeah.
If not the sub, I think she gets the decision with control. But I think she has enough stand-up to keep her okay with fucking Bobby Cooper, and then submit Bobby Cooper just like fucking didn't Mackenzie Dern submit Bobby Cooper?
Did you just knock her out with the big shot? Oh no, yeah. She choked her out. My bad. She bombed her that first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm with you as well on Ashley Yoder. All right, main event time. Let's go. Michael the Lone Wolf Trezano taking on Louis Violent Bob Ross Pena.
Man,
this is crazy fight, and he was a minus 300 at minus 3, more than that. He was minus 400. Luis Pena, he was like a minus 400 at one point when the odds first started opening up. He's minus 400. He dropped all the way down to minus 160. People are throwing money on Trezano. Good big money on Trezano. Trezano's legit, but
did you put it on when it was 3?
Pardon?
Did you put it on Violent Bob Ross when it was 3?
No, I put it on him. I bet 3 units on Violent Bob Ross. I have him at I got him at minus 185, so I waited.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I waited. I got a good line on him. Still a good line. Yeah, I got it. Minus 185. Okay, and then I I just think he's the better striker out of the two. I think this is going to be going. It's going to play out on the feet a lot, but I think if Luis is smart, he's gonna press Trezano up against the cage. He's gonna take his ass down, and he's gonna work on the ground here. He has a way better ground game, in my opinion. He's a state champion wrestler, very good wrestler. Wants to go on the ground with you. He was saying in his blog for Anatomy of the Fighter, but his stand-up's legit. Got a very nice 1-2. Got a beautiful jab. Stays behind the shots really well. He's long. He's 6'3", 155 for one. He said he can make 145. That'd be interesting. 6'3", 145. Holy fuck.
Maybe not yet, but
yeah, he made 155 with quite ease. I think he's outstanding, man. I think he's one of the top prospects in the UFC right now. I think this is another coming out party for him. I think he shows what he's capable of against a very tough opponent against Mike Trezano. Trezano's got nasty leg kicks. He knows what he's doing. But I think Luis Pena is going to be too much for him. So I got 3 units on Luis, Bob Ross Pena at -185.
Again, same season of Ultimate Fighter. Probably one of the best, actually. The best I've seen in a while. And
what is that season?
Well, yeah, just the talent that came out of that one.
Oh my goodness, all those undefeated fighters. They should have signed a lot of those fighters, man.
Big mistake, because Luis Pena, crazy, amazing body kicks, and you see it from his very first fight in there, just bothering people with it, teeps, jabs, getting really scrappy when it counts, but also kind of remaining safe. Takes a few shots because of the scrappiness, but at the same time, I mean, he really pressures you and stays there. Changes to knees. He can pop you with a crazy kick, and his range is amazingly good. Trains with Khabib
that's one of his main training partners.
Yeah.
He said he was one of his main sparring partners for Conor versus Khabib.
There you go. I mean, obviously those kicks were translated out and gave Khabib a bit of an idea of what he's dealing with, and that's just what Bob Ross has naturally. Amazing kicks. Mike Trezano, he's also blessed with some pretty good kicks as well. Took out Clark in that season of the Ultimate Fighter. Crazy ground game and head kicks. Also knocked out John Gunther while he was kind of trucking forward. Some great boxing and lots of power in it too. He's got some great hands and some nice uppercuts, and really threw plenty of leg kicks and body shots against Giannetti, which I think won him that fight in that split, because Giannetti wanted it, man. It was a close fight, and I liked watching it. It's a very entertaining fight to watch. This is a battle of kicks and jabs, because whoever pretty much keeps that going, I think, wins the fight. Mike Trezano is really good at keeping kicks in opponent's face while they're kicking is in turn, because when Giannetti threw a kick, he blocked it, returned with 2, and just kept on that style. Was still able to line up the body shots. Was still able to pressure Giannetti up against the fence. And yeah, Giannetti scored a lot of cross counters as well. And I think for a lot of them, he actually tended to win it. Even on the ground, Giannetti almost got him into a triangle. He's got some really good legs on him. I think they're both around the same size, right? As well, they're both.
Yeah.
So I mean, they both have the same legs then, but it's, I don't know, man. Mike Trezano's not too bad, but I got Luis Pena in this one.
Pena's definitely the taller guy here, but yeah.
I think his kick can definitely contend with Mike Trezano's, and he's already lost before in the amateurs, so he's kind of already experienced it. Whereas Mike Trezano has come close to losing a few times, as we've seen.
Trezano lost the fucking round to Gunther.
Yeah.
Lost the round to Gunther.
Gunther's a rough fight, man. Gunther's a rough fight.
It depends. I don't think it's gonna be a rough fight for Davi Ramos.
No, no.
But it depends, man. Gunther's, yeah, I know what you're saying, but like, fuck, I think Pena would have fucked Gunther right up.
Yeah, I could see that.
He would have really stayed behind his jab at distance, maintained the reach, fucked his day up. And his wrestling, Pena's wrestling is better than Gunther's.
Yeah, yeah.
So he would have stayed up the whole time. He would have fucked Gunther up. He would have fucked Gunther right up.
If you can stay up with the rest, then normally counters out everything.
Yeah. He would. Oh my goodness, that wouldn't even be fair if he fought Gunther. Next up, we got Macy, the Future Barber.
Cool fight.
Taking on Hannah Cyphers. I'm big on Macy Barber. I've been big on Macy Barber for a while now, but especially since that Contender Series debut against Jamie Colleen, where she really she's nasty, man. She's got some nasty karate. Holds herself at the side. I like her striking, but her ground game's fucking legit. She's a purple belt under Hannah Gracie.
Jeez.
Yeah, man, she's fucking legit. She's fucking legit, and she's 20 years old. Works at Factory X Muay Thai with Mark Montoya. And man, she's just like, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, she's just a little savage. And Hannah Cyphers, terrible striking from what I've seen. And her background's supposed to be Muay Thai or whatever. Not very good on the ground as well. This, I don't know, man. I see Macy Barber really steamrolling Hannah Cyphers here. I got Macy Barber all day. I think she's a better striker, better on the ground. She's supposed to be a minus 400, exactly where she is right now, man. So I got Macy Barber in a parlay with Davi Ramos in decision. 5 units Davi Ramos in decision and Macy Barber at minus 178. Let's fucking go.
Macy Barber went off with head kicks on Jamie Collins in that fight. Again, just that kick really works for her. And I think that's why she's 5-0. Really worked Colleen to the fence. Always moving, fitting elbows in. Really close, actually. Stalks forward, lands low kicks. Great distance. And she's really good at bringing the speed up of the leg kicks. Of the kicks, switching stances at the right time, and not overusing it, but using it just enough to kind of keep the gas going. Good control, and can really get takedowns when she sweeps the leg and pops knees to the thighs. Always a smart move, and does not leave fighters alone. Colleen had no rest at all in any defensively anywhere. I thought that if she actually would have roughed her up a bit, or maybe even got some shots off, she might have been able to be on the fence a little bit less. But it got real difficult for her, and it was difficult for her for the entire fight until she got taken down and beaten up with those elbows. Hannah Cyphers, on the other hand, I do see the Muay Thai. I think she does have some pretty good kicks. She throws some combos, whether their opponent misses or blocks, so she's got a good eye for that type of thing. Gets good knees in on the cage, just like Barber, actually. Very, very kind of similar knees there. She likes to knees to the thighs as well, and as she hits or lands more punches, she becomes more confident. She has a really good right hook and left hook, especially to the body. Cyphers actually has those kind of whirlwind punches. They kind of go all types of angles, lots of hooks. Just good lead hook. I thought that maybe Jamie Collins might have needed some of those tactics to get off the fence. She knocked out Andrea Dorolos and tightened at three, some big body punches and kicks. I like that fight just because she's able to kind of line those up. And she was beaten by Jamie Roberts, though. She was choked out, so I think that's what gives. I think that's what gives Macy Barber to get to a bit of an edge here, especially since Jamie Roberts. I mean, she's still in the UFC. She's actually in the UFC as well, and maybe we could see a rematch if Hannah Stevens does win this fight, or if she loses, that could be a possible second fight. I gotta go for Mace Barber on those kicks though. I think if she lands one of those spinnings or even like a front leg side kick, it could be night for Hannah Stevens. Hannah Stevens got some good hands on her, so it could be a little scrappy, but I still got Barber.
All right. Next up, we got Beneil Dariush taking on Thiago Moises, the newcomer here. Fucking Thiago Moises is no joke. If you watch his fight on Dana White Contender Series Brazil, episode 3, he's a little monster, man. He's got some fucking nasty striking. He's got a nasty head kick. He knows what he's doing. He's got very nasty striking, and he's got a great ground game. His ground game's legit. I think he's a black belt, and he's fucking legit, man. And he's got very good striking defense. One of the guys you got to watch out for when in this lightweight division here. One of the prospects I'm saying. Beneil got starched by Alex Hernandez. He got his life changed by Alex Hernandez. And then before that, fought Evan Dunham to a draw. Fuck, man. Beneil hasn't got knocked out by Edson with that flying knee after he was winning. I think Thiago was actually a better striker than Beneil here. I think, believe it or not, he's a better striker. And he's got the better ground game. I love Thiago in this position, man. I really like him in this position, especially in a position like this. I think he's gonna be able to take down Dariush if he wants to, but I think if he wants to keep the standing, he can win this rather easily. Not rather easily. I think it'll be a tough fight, but I think he can win this. So I got 3.07 units on Thiago Moises at plus 130, and I'm fucking confident on him.
I can see why, man. I think he fought Gleason Curtis on that fight into the UFC, and he knocked him out blocking his punch. Like, he blocked, and man, that right hand just came hard. He can kick and change levels. And then go for the takedown really fast, or use the knee. Just as dangerous on the floor, pulling off arm bars over Dave Castillo, and has fought and lost to Jason Knight in a fight that I'm really curious to see. I'm kind of looking for it. I haven't seen it on YouTube or any sort of like Google search, but yeah, I'm curious about how that one went. It went like a decision. Jason Knight beat him. So if you have the ground skills, you might be able to keep up with him. His kicks are going to have a really contend with because Dariush is here, and he kicks just as hard and just as fast, and he just needs to really push people up against the fence. And once he does get you there, he'll bounce you off and lift you and slam you. Head kicks, but almost from like a orthodox stance sometimes. Likes to knee and throw the 1-2 on the fence, really sticking against sticking the punches in against opponents. A lot of push punches, a lot of force. He had a really tough fight against Robert Watley, actually, who at the time was on a wicked winning streak. I think recently he lost, but I mean, man, he was going crazy there for a while. And it was a rough fight for him, actually. Rough fight. It was extremely difficult for him to take him down in that one. Dariush, on the other hand, I like his fight against Alex Hernandez. He didn't leave him alone, gave him a lot of pressure. You got to watch that fight because crazy knockout in that one. He starts to he has that kind of style that slows opponents' pace down. And he can start catching with a lot of easy stuff. He likes to play the blitzing game too, which is actually why he gets. That's why it's his biggest downfall. you can lose to that big blitz, which is why Moises has a big chance against him, especially on the right hand. Benito Dariush, though, bombed James Vick with a crazy combo. Once he got him on the ground, he was lights out. Beat Michael Johnson in a crazy split decision. Likes to parry kicks, swing that big body left kick. Tons in the first round, actually. He likes to give a lot of pressure with those. You saw a lot of it in the James Vick fight as well. I like how in the James Vick fight, actually, I think there was an eye poke 2 times. It was back and forth. But the first time it happened, Dariush played this really weird move where he just kind of went to go touch glove, and he just kept the pressure and just stayed in James Vick's face. And I think that's kind of what turned the fight, because it made James Vick really have to work off his back foot. And if you're working off your back foot for too long against Dariush, he's gonna hit you with something really heavy, and his punches rock. Once he hits, he will not stop. Dariush gets a good body lock on opponents and can slam them straight back down and start going to work on the ground. Big left hands and uppercuts, and once he smells blood, man, he won't stop. Possibly second or third round. He might get tired though in the late rounds. So I don't know, man. It's close, but I actually like Dariush in this one. I think he's got some real deadly shots for Moises to handle as well, if they're going to be standing, and a somewhat decent ground game to at least keep them being competitive.
Yeah, it could be. I just see Thiago Moises. I see the value on Thiago at plus 130, and I see the strike. I see he's the better striker, the more clean striker right now, and he's fucking deadly on the ground. But let's see. Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Next up, we got fuck, I'm all over the place here. We got Raquel Pennington versus Germaine de Randamie. Germaine de Randamie making her return to 135 after UFC 208. That was her last fight, man, a long time ago against Holly Holm, where she won. If you watch some of her other fights, and almost Larissa Pacheco, I know these aren't fucking world-class names or anything, but man, her striking is fucking legit. She was touted as the female Anderson Silva before she got into the UFC by Cesar Gracie.
No surprise.
And she's fucking legit, man. Germaine de Randamie is a scary woman when she wants to be. She was obviously scared to fight Cyborg. Who the fuck wouldn't be scared to fight Cyborg? But here she's legit, man. You can see it. And against a girl in Raquel Pennington, Raquel looked awful today on the scales, weighing in at 138. A tough weight cut, you can tell, and doesn't have much for Germaine on the feet. It's a matter of if she can grind Germaine up against the cage or whatnot, but I don't see that happening. I think Germaine's the stronger fighter here and is going to be able to reverse any of those positions and be able to strike with her and really, if not get the knockout, she might be able to she'll be able to get the decision here. So I'm going with Germaine de Randamie. I got 4 units on her. Let me just check the line real quick. I got 4 units on Germaine, the Iron Lady, de Randamie at minus 180.
Yeah, I can see that. Germaine Randamie is ridiculous. I watched her boxing match against some guy, knocked him out. It looked some guy. She was a boxer. It's a guy. I'm not sure if they did that like as a charity thing or like it was a special event, but you can find it on YouTube. She wrecks him. Just destroyed. Good stamina and clinch work. Maybe a little bit of some cheat tactics in there. I noticed throughout a few of her fights. She's got this nice little tie clinch that she likes to put up, And when she clinches your neck and pulls you in, she brings her head in as well and just kind of rubs her head up against your face and really grinds people out. And yeah, I mean, her chin's out there, but once she leans back, she starts throwing the knees, and it gets real difficult. She starts throwing uppercuts off of breaks, and man, those uppercuts go to the ceiling. You get hit by that, you're dead. You want to avoid that clinch with her because that's where she can really start enforcing a lot of her bully tactics. She was able to hit Holly Holmes after the bell a few times, and it is a really, yeah, it might be borderline cheating, but it's just because she stays so close and knows her distance so well that she's just always in range to fire. So even if those seconds are dying down and it's like 455, 456. I mean, if she starts coming up closer, she'll start throwing those punches, and man, sometimes she might go 4 or 5. Hell, maybe even throw like a few. And man, right when the buzzer hits 5 minutes, it might hit in between her throwing punches. So be careful. You gotta be on high alert at all times. Raquel Pennington has a really heavy jab, real nice jab actually when she gets it going. She catches a lot of people running backwards, and she keeps a lot of pressure when they start darting right or when they start darting to the sides of her, and she can go in for that takedown. Had a great fight against Miesha Tate. Almost got her in a nasty guillotine if Tate didn't get to the fence and kind of like kick off of it, and a really weird kind of cool move getting out of that. Beat Tanya Evinger in the first round of their fight, and Tanya Evinger's pretty badass fighter. You know, looks to land a lot of those inside leg kicks as well. Keep fighters on the end of that jab, and and land those kicks to the thigh. But at the end of the day, I think that it's gonna be real difficult for her to do, just because Germaine Durandamy has a lot more weapons on the stand up. She has that jab from boxing already. If anything, that's her main weapon, and she lowers that right hand on you and she quirks it. I originally thought that she kind of had her elbow out a little too much and she was swinging it, but I mean, man, she puts her hip into it a lot, and sometimes it's just like a hip flick, and this thing goes straight out, and man, that cracks people. I think Germaine Durandamy hits Raquel Pennington pretty hard early. Raquel's going to have to really tough out the fight in order to keep her type of style and maybe wear it down. But I don't see Germaine Durandamy get tired in very many of her fights.
Yeah. Yep.
So I Germaine Durandamy for that one.
I think Germaine's going to be in way better shape than Raquel because of the weight cut. Next up, we got our co-main event, a fight I'm fucking looking forward to very much. Donald Cowboy Cerrone taking on Platinum Mike Perry. I got 5 units on Platinum Mike Perry at, I believe, minus 205. Yep.
That's good.
And where I see this one going is like there's a lot of X factors. First of all, Cerrone's, who the fuck knows where he's been training? I guess the BMF ranch will say, okay, the BMF ranch.
Okay.
I don't know. Who's in Cerrone's corner? Does anybody know? Is there anyone who knows who the fuck's in Cerrone? Is Grandma?
He can probably staff his own corner and just get his own, like, whatever coach he wants that's not Greg, right?
Well, I guess he can't get Greg, right?
No,
so
that's what I mean.
And then he doesn't have Gibson, Brandon Gibson. So those are the two that he usually uses, and they're not in this corner. I guess he's going to have his own wrestling coach or whatever. I don't know what the fuck he's been doing, man. He didn't go to open workouts. He didn't do anything for open workouts or anything like that. He's looking old. Like Mike Perry said today in the face-offs, he's like, "You're looking old, Cowboy." He's fucking looking old, man. Cowboy's looking old. And he comes to bang. We know he has his pride on the line and everything. But I think when he sees Mike Winklejohn, Frank Lester, those type of guys in Mike Perry's corner, and that Jackson Wink chose Mike Perry over Donald Cerrone after all the time Donald Cerrone is put in Jackson Wink. I think that's playing into Donald Cerrone's head a lot before this fight. I think this is very about Donald Cerrone versus Jackson Wink in his head, and he's not. I don't know if he's taking Mike Perry as serious as he should be.
Yeah, he's taking on the whole gym, but
yeah, he's taking on the whole gym in one fight.
Yeah.
You know, and Perry's been putting in rounds with John Jones. He's been putting in rounds with John Jones. You get better. If you step in the ring if I step in the octagon with John Jones, sparring with him for 5 minutes, I will be a better fighter after those 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
100%. And Platinum's been no joke. He hits like a fucking truck. This guy can be Mike Tyson. If he knew how to wrestle really well, if he was a good wrestler, and he had some nasty jiu-jitsu, this guy would be Mike Tyson. He would just stand up with everybody and knock them out. He would fuck up that. He would fuck up everybody in the division. If oh my goodness, we saw against Paul Felder what he did, his good wrestling and everything like that. I can't say enough good stuff about Mike Perry, man. I'm Mike Perry all day. 5 units -205. Platinum Mike Perry. Let's go. First round knockout against Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
I gotta agree. I think Donald Cerrone is definitely taking this fight maybe in the wrong way. I think after that Joe Rogan podcast and kind of
that was bad. He was even saying he was saying stuff that gets him angry. He was like if I'm angry, I don't fight as good. So
yeah.
Why would you tell that to anybody? The fuck are you doing? You're a fighter, man.
I understand that move there, and the reason, like, you can't really say it's a lie is because Donald Cerrone is normally pretty honest on the show and in general.
Yeah, 100%. You see his best when he's clapping hands with Yancy Medeiros and he's high-fiving Yancy Medeiros in the middle of a fucking fight.
Right.
He ends up knocking out Yancy Medeiros because he's happy-go-lucky with him. He fights Darren Till or Jorge Masvidal, who hates his guts, but's talking shit to him. Especially Jorge Masvidal, beat the fuck out of him in Denver. The last time he was in Denver, he fought Jorge Masvidal. He got fucked up against Masvidal, man. He got fucked up. This is man. I love Perry in this situation. I love him.
I completely understand, man. It's Mike Perry. He is like a Mike Tyson. I think that's a really good description of it. A lot of the technique he uses to uncork his punches, the uppercuts, the hooks, a lot of his kind of burst strike attacks, random knees, elbows. This guy has weapons for days and is always wild. Basically just ran through Paul Felder. That was an awesome fight. I watched that.
I know Paul Felder had his hand broken or his arm broken or whatever, but fuck, like what a great fight too. What a performance by Mike Perry though.
That fight could be a movie. Okay, like that's how good it was. Actually, a really cool video on YouTube is Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Mike Perry, and they kind of do like a video on how Ponzinibbio ended up winning that fight. And I really like that. Ponzinibbio kept a nasty jab in Mike Perry's face that almost had him frozen, and he kind of waited for his punches a little too often. And when he did land, I mean, he uncorked shots, but Santiago did not let up, kept jabbing, throwing punches. Man, his hands looked like rubber there, like just really whipping the jab out there. Against Max Griffin, we obviously noticed that if you kind of keep your distance, stay really, really, really far away on that, like at the edge of the cliff, you actually could end up getting through a Mike Perry fight almost unscathed. Actually, you got to make it extremely boring, but you could probably get it off unscathed. Now, Don Cerrone, a lot of glory days are behind him. I'm a big fan of his Benson Henderson fights, his Nate Diaz fights. And again, his Yancy Medeiros fight is huge for him. But I do agree that it was a little bit friendly, especially to clap hands with a guy who just kind of flipped. And I understand that he kind of fell, and they were already in good spirits going into that fight. But I don't think Yancy Medeiros would have let up on that situation as well. You know what I mean? I mean, if you stumble back, you're getting mounted. You know what I mean? So Simone is really kind of battling a lot of problems there, especially with the trauma. Got some still amazing kicks. Still, he can just wake up out of nowhere and just start landing these shots. That combination against Rick Story is still awesome and always worth a watch. Just to see what happens if you do this one combination so many times in constant repetition. That's what it looks like in the ring when you actually let off one of those and you land it. I think this fight can generally go either way. Hell, it can end in the first round. I think Mike Perry kind of edges this one out a little closer, but I'm still a big Cowboy fan. I'm actually taking him in this fight. I think maybe he turns some heads and maybe even wins it. Again, it's going to be a rough fight, and I can see Mike Perry more winning it, but yeah, I just got to take Cowboy Cerrone on this one. He's still a deadly first round, man.
Fuck Cowboy. I know I'm joking. I love Cowboy, man. Cowboy's one of my favorite fighters of all time. But Mike Perry, so is Mike Perry, man. I love Mike Perry.
I took Felder in that fight too. So.
Oh, I had 40 units on Felder.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Mike working at Greg Jackson is going to make the difference here. I think this is a good fight for Mike. Okay, so our main event comes. We got Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie, against Yair Alcantara Rodriguez, and I got 2.5 units on Yair Alcantara Rodriguez at plus 123. Confident in that, man. I think this kid is super dynamic. One of the most dynamic fighters of all time. He's Pettis-like, but Pettis doesn't throw that much crazy shit. He throws crazy shit. He throws 360 roundhouse kicks to your caboose. You get fucked. Look what he did to BJ Penn. I know it was BJ Penn or whatever. What he did against Andre Fili. This is a guy who beat Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's a nasty 155 right now. He beat him at 145 nasty. He beat him. 30-27 them, actually. To be exact. 30-27 them. His kicks are just dangerous. His jiu-jitsu is dangerous. His wrestling is getting better working with Izzy. I think he's working at Jackson Wink. Man, he's just it's taken a long time off. The only problem with this is this being short notice. He doesn't, but whatever. I like him a lot in this position. I think Chan Sung Jung has some good hands, but I think Jung's been on the layoff for a while, and he was getting lit up by Dennis Bermudez. Dennis Bermudez was lighting him up, and ended up getting knocked out because Dennis Bermudez doesn't have a great chin. But yeah, man, I'm going with Yair all day here. I think Yair scores nasty, a head kick knockout here. I got 2.5 units on Yair Alcantara Rodriguez at plus 123. I believe it. Did I say plus 123?
Plus 123, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 123. Let me just make sure for a second so I don't fuck it up. 2.5 units. Yeah, you're open to Rodriguez plus 123. Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
I'll be give them your prediction. I'll be back.
All right, cool. Yeah, Yair Rodriguez, complete massacre over BJ Penn. A lot of spinny stuff on display here. Just a fraction of what he can do, really, especially if he gets his pace going. Amazing balance. And on his ground game, once he tags you and starts pulling once he pulls the trigger on a strike and gets you on the floor, that ground pound comes really fast. One of my favorite fights watching is actually the Bruce Leroy fight, just because for the first time he has someone spin kicking with him and against him, and it was a really weird fight. It took him to a split decision that he has rarely seen. But I mean, not everybody is like Bruce Leroy's style, so I can completely understand that. But in the Andre Fili fight, big head kick in that one. And even surviving after Andre Fili's trademark, NFL takedown tackle, someone needs to check these kicks, because Andre Fili got downed after taking a big leg kick and swept him off his feet like a carpet. Good takedown defense. Like I said, Andre Fili isn't the only one he's been able to kind of stop. Anyone who kind of gets into the fence, he has that kind of control, and they're normally really far away already, just from his spin kicks, and a lot of his strikes are so deadly that people kind of stay at that range where, yeah, I don't really want to mess with you, but at the same time, I can't hit you, you can't hit me, and maybe we'll just sit out here. Rarely see him on the floor. But, I mean, he's got long enough legs to pull off a triangle choke. He's pulled it off really early. Obviously, get those spinning kick knockouts, as many as you can. That's what's going to really sell you. The Korean Zombie, however, very accurate with his kicks as well, and no slouch on the ground, especially when he's transitioning off his back and his balance and his guard. Calm under pressure because he has to be, especially winning against some very, very top-notch opponents. One of my favorite fights being the Dustin Poirier fight. If you really want to watch a fight where he gets dinged up a lot, actually, but then all of a sudden starts coming back, watch that one. Crazy flying knee out of desperation, lands on Dustin Poirier in the second round, and just unleashed a mayhem of ground attacks, throwing up multiple submissions on him. It was nuts. He can get tired in the third round, as it takes him a while to kind of. There's long periods of idle, and where he's just kind of standing there, and I think that's where he struck the most by Yair. In the third round, I mean, when the Zombie starts stepping forward and slowly kind of pacing you, man, he hits you with some of these uppercuts, and man, it can really cause opponents to back up. And he even snatched up Dustin Poirier's arm multiple times for some submission trouble. So he's very deadly. We all know about the twister he pulls off. Good sprawls. Very bit of low hands though in this fight, and you can't have low hands when you fight Yair Rodriguez. So this is a very weird fight. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Korean Zombie, especially that Dustin Poirier fight where I watched him. But I think Yair has more than proven how successful he is with his distance, with his footwork, and has yet to really see a problem in his opponents. So I actually think Yair Rodriguez walks away with this one. But you got to be ready for the Korean Zombie in desperation mode, because he has a few tricks up his sleeve as well. He's very deadly on the ground. Could wrap up Yair in possibly another twister if he could. You never know. But again, on that stand-up, he could get desperate and go for that flying knee. But I just think Yair has a little bit more weaponry on the stand-up, and especially things that might keep him idle and standing still for a little too long. And I think he's going to get caught by something big. I think Yair Rodriguez gets a KO here.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot like the George Roop knockout that was of Korean Zombie. If you remember that back in the day, George Roop knocked him out in WBC with a nasty head kick, and I see Yair Rodriguez maybe doing the same thing here.
I'll check that one out for sure, actually.
Yeah. All right, guys. So that's it for UFC Denver, the Korean Zombie versus Rodriguez. Bets, breakdown, and picks. It's your boy Sebs. And you already know what to do. Just click that like button below and hit that subscribe button if you have it, man. If you like the content, hit subscribe. We're here. We do our weekly breakdowns when we can, of course. And yeah, man, let's cash these bets. Let's have some fun this weekend. Let's watch these fights. Fucking great fights this weekend, guys. Let's do our thing. And right now, I'm going to give a little shout out to what I'm watching, bro. You guys got to watch bare knuckle boxing going on right now. Nasty. Yes.
All right, man.
Julian Lane right now.
I think a few UFC fighters are doing it, no?
Yeah, Johnny Hendricks is going to be fighting next.
Yeah. Heard about that.
Yeah, so take a look at that too as well, guys. But let's cash these bets. Let's go.
Good luck this weekend, everyone.
Peace out.